Yeah, sure. This is my slide deck. I'll go through part of it. I won't go into the heavy-duty coding, and I'll try to be brief. But yeah, so I was going over customizing your DNN search. I was actually talking about the built-in DNN search, even though we at Blue Bolt are developing this Bravo Squared enterprise search product. Um, but again, I'm not going to, at a DNN session, I'm not just going to promote products. You're not supposed to do that. So I think uh, teach about as much as I can about how to use the built-in search. One thing that a lot of questions that a lot of people have are that they don't really get. A lot of people don't know how to set up their search. They don't really understand how to get the search working. A lot of forum Q&As about, yeah, I mean, my search doesn't work. Nothing comes up, right? So here's my checklist of what I like to do to make sure search works. So make sure you have good page titles. I also recommend taxonomy terms. Everyone, if you guys don't know what that is, I mean, I think everyone on the phone knows, or on the call knows, but the taxonomy terms, which are in the admin taxonomy here. What I did here was make sure I created a new vocabulary called search tags, and then I added a bunch of terms into that. And this is important because if you want to be able to get some filtering on your search, which I'll show in a moment, you have to be able to have those terms in the taxonomy and then assign those to pages. So when you're on a page and you click on page settings, you can assign those tags right here. And they're important in searching, and I'll show you in just a moment. So page tags, taxonomy terms, the page settings, allow indexing, that's buried in the page. By default, it is on for everything, but sometimes if maybe you're upgrading or whatever, it's legacy. So buried in the advanced settings and the other settings, you have allow indexing, so that makes sure that page can get in there. There's also a similar one and buried in the module settings for allowing the module content to get indexed. So both the module and page setting allow indexing. And then re-index content and the site crawling. So most people say, okay, I went to admin, I went to the search admin, and then I clicked on re-index content. Nothing happened, nothing changed. Well, the reason is because this button really doesn't do anything. The re-index content doesn't do anything. I click on this. What it does is it actually resets the date in which the crawler will ask the module content, I need everything after this date, because the new crawler works on an incremental basis, which means every time it runs, it doesn't re-index the entire site's content, because that would bring down your site, because Lucene is heavy processing on when you index data at the time of the index data. So re-index content will reset that, that date, but after you hit re-index content, that's not enough. It only does something when you go back to the scheduler and the next time your search crawler runs, right here. So if people don't realize that, this is what actually gets the data into the search engine. So if clicking on that button does nothing until you execute this job. So after explaining that, then we go on to, filtering results. So not everyone knows this, but you can actually filter by these three different things. So by tag, by source, which would be like the type of module that it came from, or by the updated date. So has this piece of content been updated after a day, or within the last day, within the last week, within the last month? So if I go to search for a, you can actually use these tags in your search result here. See how that filters dynamically every time I type?
Yeah.
See, I got it wrong. Now I got it right. Pages. So For module developers, this isn't very interesting until I tell them that the API that we're going to use to to create our custom results uses this exact same string when you pass it into it. So we can do some cool things with that. So what I did was I showed this custom search that I built. Now this is built using the module creator. You guys are familiar with that, right? That quick module creator where you just, up in here, this modules, create new module, and then I just threw some code into the view. And this has literally no back-end code other than Client Resource Manager to register this script library called Handlebars. I'm using Handlebars as a client, as a JavaScript templating framework, and I'm hitting the same exact web API that the DNN search results that you just saw hits. And so if I could type in sitcom here, just the same word and it searches through all my pages and finds that word. So I'm leveraging the same exact Lucene search that the core search uses, but I'm able to template the results the way I want to. And I showed how simple it is to use Handlebars. I won't go into it now, but you can see from when you can download my code, and Don is going to put the link on our video recap in our user group page. And so I could actually create custom controls, and what this is doing is actually doing the same thing that you saw on there, adding the tag to the search result. So you can do very customized things, and it will still leverage that same Lucene engine, to render the result. And obviously, I won't go into all the code, but this is what the code looks like. And then what I do is I went into how to do a custom module search. So I have this custom module, and this was actually built as a DNN Hero tutorial. So those of you who follow me on DNN Hero probably know about this. And that's this my client-centric tutorial, which shows a knockout jQuery Ajax web API module that dynamically renders content onto the screen. What I added to it was a search. And what the search allows me to do is search only within my module content, but leverage the Lucene engine that's built into DNN to filter, to search through my results. And so I can use any type of the Lucene wildcard syntax, that you can do with Lucene, but I can use it just in my module. And so this is leveraging a core API. I think it's this one right here, module search. So you can do powerful things with search within your module, and here's really the code to make that work. But you can do powerful things within your module to leverage the Lucene engine without having to build any of that yourself. And that was pretty much it. Again, I'm not going to have time to go into the code, but that was pretty much the gist of my talk. Now, what the code or the link that we'll put up on here on my website should probably be, by the time you get to it, it'll probably still be the first or second blog entry. I don't have the article up here, but I plan on redoing my entire presentation as a video capture like I do for DNN Hero. I'll have it up on DNN Hero as well as freely available on my website. But even now, we'll put this link on here, but you can go get the actual module. So here's the custom search module, where it shows you how to implement module search base, implement the client-centric knockout web API approach, and the custom search, leveraging the custom search. So it's a really full of good code that you guys can use and extend for your module. And then the handlebars custom result that I just showed you, and then the presentation that I just showed you in a PDF format, all is right here to download and use.
Very cool. Well, like you mentioned, I'll put those links on the Chicago DNN news page, so that when people go to the site, they can watch this clip here that we're talking here. But then they can, just below that, they'll find the links, and then they can go and look at it themselves. And thanks very much for that. I didn't mean to cut you off if you had more.
No, that was it. That I just
Fantastic.
wanted. Again, that was really fast, and I blew through it. But again, go here to this page, and you can get all the information. And in about a week, I'll refresh this page with like I said, a YouTube video where you can kind of follow along in a DNN Heroes style tutorial.
Fantastic.